Are you a manufacturing company looking to upgrade your machining center? Look no further than Grove's Mill and Turn 5-axis machines that are in a league of their own. With a unique retractable spindle, it virtually eliminates the chance for collisions while requiring less floor space. Our versatile machines offer more standard options with a wide range of automation, all at an affordable cost. Choose Grove's Mill and Turn 5-axis machines. Go to grovegroup.com to get more information. Go to grobgroup.com to get more information.
Here's to holiday traditions, the ones that started as a quick laugh but are now irreplaceable. Here's to the recipes that require Grandma's mixing bowl because they just won't taste the same without it. The Chinette brand believes in spending more time on traditions and less time cleaning up. With the Chinette Crystal, Comfort, and Classic collections, we can help make your holiday celebrations better for years to come. Here's to mixing timeless traditions with a few new ones. Here's to us, all of us. To find out more, visit mychinette.com.
Hello, my paranormal peeps, and welcome back to another paranormal podcast. My name is Matt Harvey. I am the lead investigator and founder of Deep Woods Paranormal. Amanda and I, my wife Amanda and I, have been investigating the paranormal for close to almost 30 years now. It's been a long time. We started out with ghosts, and then about 10 years ago, we switched over to ghosts and Bigfoot and UFOs and all kinds of other stuff. And so, anyways, I just want to give everybody a quick update. We have a lot of new followers, and both on YouTube and on our paranormal podcast here. I just want to welcome you all and thank you guys just so much for following us, and all the downloads and all the support that we get from you guys, and the questions and the concerns and everything. Amanda and I have been just doing a lot of private cases. When I say private, that means probably homes, businesses, and other locations where they just don't want the information provided to the public. So those investigations. Hello? Okay, my friend is back talking in my ear here. So that happened last time too. I was almost done with this podcast, and I heard a male voice say something in my ear, and you have to bear with me if you're clinking around. That's the puppies in here with me. I've got 4 dogs, so they're here chilling out, checking out what I'm doing. But I don't know who this entity is. I don't think he's attached to anything. If you kind of see behind me, we've got the doll, and then we've got over here. I don't know if you can see it. The lighting's not that great. There's a pair of spectacles. Let me do this. There we go. So there's a pair of spectacles over there, and then you have what I said before. There's a dragon that's made out of wood. It's been hand carved and stained. It's really cool. We got that from an estate sale. And then, of course, we've got our old puppies that passed away, Farley and Allie, back there in their boxes. And we kind of have a place for them to be. So, anywho, I don't know where that entity came from. I've never had any experiences with a male entity in this house yet. But, maybe he was just stopping through. Maybe he just wanted my attention. Maybe he wanted all your guys' attention. If you guys have listened through to the podcast, listen right before I say hello, because he seems to be communicating in my ear. I'm going to turn this back. So, yeah, just really interesting. So, again, I want to welcome all the new subscribers to our podcast and to our YouTube channel. Thank you, guys. We have just exploded. We went from a couple months ago only having a couple hundred downloads a month to now we're at 800 downloads a month in 2 months. I mean, we had 300 downloads in 3 days on the last podcast. So I really appreciate you guys, and I appreciate all your support. So thank you again. I'm sorry to keep going over that, but I'm just want to thank you guys for all that. You have no idea what it means to us to have you guys, follow us on YouTube or subscribe to us here, or even just download an episode of our podcast. So if you don't know, we're also over on YouTube if you want to watch this podcast. We also do investigation videos over there, and we do a lot of cool things over there. We do like exploring locations. We go. There's a lot of historical areas out here in Texas that we go check out. Sometimes we do quick interviews with people, talk to them about paranormal stuff if they're willing to. Out here, it's a little more difficult because people don't really like to talk about that stuff. So let me give you guys an update on Joe's camp and the jail investigation we did. If you watched our Facebook Live, you saw what happened, and I kind of talked about it last time. I've been so bogged down between work and personal life and trying to get videos up that I've fallen a little bit behind. I have those two investigations I got to get up onto our YouTube channel. We've kind of talked about them last week. The jail was insane. So we hope to get back in there sometime in the future. We're also trying to set up another jail investigation here in the future. So maybe we'll go live on that. One thing I do want to talk about, and the more times I go back to Joe since he's removed a lot of the trees, and it's not his fault. He had to. I mean, if he hadn't done that, I mean, he gets lightning strikes. The lightning strikes up there hit his trees and catch them on fire. It's insane. He had about 200 to 300 different very beautiful, tall pine trees on his property. And those trees came all the way down. If you're looking at a football field, imagine Joe's property is a football field. And you come down to the last 30 yards of his property. That's where his camp was, in the very front. And then towards the back was just all forest. It was a thick, forested area, a thicket. And the Bigfoots would literally come down at night. Well, they come down through during any time of the day, but they would come up right up to those trees within about 10 to 15 feet of you. And they just stand behind the trees. You could see them peeking around the corner. But you had to have an infrared camera to see their eyes. It was the coolest thing to sit there and look at them and see them duck down or, be on their all fours or whatever. You could actually kind of see them a little bit. We could see them with our eyes a little bit. You could kind of make out a shape, but you couldn't really see them. And basically what they would do is they'd come in and creep up, get behind the tree, and either stay low, a couple feet off the ground, or be on all fours. And then they would kind of try and make themselves fit behind these trees. And they're just so much bigger than the trees. It was pretty difficult for them to do, but it's pitch black out there. And we turned all the lights off. And all we have is these little, infrared spotlights to try and capture this movement and stuff out there. So essentially, when they would come in, they would use those trees as cover. And now those trees are not there in the middle of his property, almost all the way to the back. It's really changed how the Bigfoots operate. Joe and I talk every couple weeks, and he updates me on what's going on because we're continuing to study his property. We do believe that he might have a pupping ground. We also do believe that there's a bunch of juveniles on his property. I kind of talked about that last time in the last podcast. So these juveniles, they're a little bit different. They are a little bit more afraid of people. They aren't as trusting. They don't come as close. Maybe because there's just, all that cover's gone. Now it is starting to regrow. Joe's going to be having more pine trees planted back on his property when he gets the opportunity. But the brush and everything's starting to grow back up. And so he's kept his property up pretty nice. And with that brush, I mean, when I went out there, I mean, the tree structures everywhere. Some of them looked really old, and a lot of them I had seen before. The trees bent over, and all the brush, all the like the vines and stuff woven into them, and basically tree branches broken off with all the leaves on them, leaned up against these tree bends. Excuse me, and so essentially, I don't think they're coming through his property anymore because of that. I think because the trees are gone, it really affected them in a way that we didn't want it to happen that way. I mean, Joe asked me, should I cut the trees down? I'm like, I don't think you have a choice. If you have a lightning strike or something catches on fire, you're going to lose your whole property, and you might burn down the properties next to you too. So, he just didn't want to have a huge forest fire on his property. And so, like I said, I can't blame him. It's not his fault. But now it's really affected the behaviors of the Bigfoots. If you have listened to my last podcast, I talked about the tree knocks. We're still hearing them, but they're not as close as they used to be, I don't believe. A friend of mine and I are going to test out a theory. Somebody already did this, and we're gonna see if it is the same. So, we're gonna test out a theory with tree knocks. He and I are gonna do some experiments with that and just see what what that all entails. We'll talk about that. I mean, I'm trying to get him on to a podcast, hopefully next month. Have him come on and talk about, number one, he's a Bigfoot researcher. He's had his own experiences, and he just recently moved to Texas too. So he and I are kind of exploring different locations together, and you'll see that on our YouTube channel under different shows that we're going to do. So anyways, with the forest gone, like I was saying, it's really changed the behavior of the Bigfoots. I think they're coming down the sides of his property because there's still a lot of trees. I mean, it's still forest on the side of his property. Just the middle has been thinned out so much that it's not quite a clearing, but it's just clearer than it was. And they're still using the creeks, the freshwater springs that come up out of his property. And there's ravines down there. I think they're using that. I think, like I said last time in the last podcast, I saw one. It looked like a juvenile. It was not big at all. But I can see the big furry head in the face. I could see the eyes and the nose. And it was distant. It was probably 100 feet away from me. It was, it peeked up over some of the brush down by the creek. And as I was walking back, I saw it. It just froze. Didn't blink or anything. Couldn't really make out the facial features. But if I had pulled out my binoculars or whatever, I probably could have seen it.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
I tried to get some video of it. We'll see when I go back to review the video, if there's actually any video of it. I don't know if I caught it on camera or not. So that will be in our next Joe's update, camp update. Okay, so talk about that. Just bear with me. I have a checklist, so I don't just go on and on about the same thing. Okay. So our plan, I know somebody had brought up on our YouTube channel, and I've heard of a few other people ask me, when are you guys going to be heading back out to a cemetery? The plan is to head out there sometime next month. Next month schedule, like every weekend, just like getting filled up so fast, and then we're already scheduling into May because there's just so much going on in our personal lives and also in our paranormal lives. We're so busy with cases and all this other stuff that we're playing catch up constantly. I spend about 12, 13, 14 hours a day working on all this stuff, trying to get video edited, trying to get podcasts up, trying to get the YouTube videos up. And also, we're also on, Rumble. We've moved over to Rumble too. So now we have videos also on Rumble. If you don't like YouTube, you can go over to our Rumble page, Deep Woods Paranormal, and look for us there. So, like I said, we're going to be heading out to a cemetery at night. We're going to be going out to that one cemetery where we had the hide and seek with the little kids. If you've not seen that video, that was pretty cool. We were using the spirit box to communicate with the Williams kids. And we walked into a plot, and I had my niece with me, and I think that's what actually drew the little kids out, because she was with me. But they started communicating with us, and we were in just this Williams family plot. It wasn't very big. It was maybe 20 feet deep by 20 feet wide, and I think there was about 18 or 20 graves in there. And we started asking questions, and they just started coming through, and the little kids kept going and going and going. And so, yeah, our plan is to go back there. I really like to see if we can continue our communication with the Williams family. Maybe we can make contact with some other people in there. But when you go to a cemetery during the day, it's one thing. At night, sometimes there's more negative energy there. In some cemeteries, it's not all. Some cemeteries, there's a more negative feeling to it. It's more thick and heavy, and you get things trying to basically either come home with you. I call them attachments or leeches. That's my word for them, is leeches, because they basically just leech off of you. They basically drain your energy. They give you headaches. They make you nauseous. Sometimes people feel lightheaded. People will feel like something's, like a weight on their shoulders. Something keeps messing with my hearing aids. And there's a lot of other things that can happen with that. So when you leave anywhere, I always say this, before you leave anywhere, even if you're not investigating, get to your car or whatever mode of transportation you're going to use. If you're walking home or whatever, walk into a hotel, whatever, just say, if there's anybody with me, you can't go home with me. Halfway back to wherever you're going, I don't care if it's 5 steps, say the same thing. If there's anybody with me, you can't go home with me. And then thirdly, when you get to where you're going, let's say you're going home or whatever, you get in your car, get your car started before you say any of this. If you're driving or using any kind of mode of transportation, start the vehicle, then get down the road to the first stop sign, first stoplight, whatever, and say it there. And then basically, like I said, if you're walking or whatever, riding a bike or whatever, just clear yourself. It's called clearing yourself. Just clear yourself if you feel like anything's, you've been in a haunted location. Just saves us and you the headache of dealing with that later. All right. So we are going to be doing another Bigfoot expedition to the Sam Houston National Forest or somewhere like that. Again, we're going to be going out with some friends and another Bigfoot researcher, and hopefully learning a lot from him. I mean, he has his own experiences, so it's always cool to go out and investigate with other people, because even if they haven't had experience, they have different ways of doing things, and sometimes that works better. I mean, like I said, when I went to Joe's, just getting to talk to David for an hour and then having him go out with us to try and see if we could find anything during that investigation was amazing. Super smart guy, just, very knowledgeable. He's been having experiences for as long as I have, or longer probably, and he's done really well with them in communication and being able to get them to take offerings and stuff. So we're going to take what I learned from that and do some offerings down in the Sam Houston National Forest. Like I said, we're going to try and do some tree knock techniques and stuff like that. The problem with the Sam Houston National Forest is, I mean, how many Bigfoot researchers have been in that forest? How many tree knocks have they done? How many screams have they done? Bigfoots, if you believe them, and I always say, if you have to have an encounter where you can say that wasn't anything else but, be it Bigfoot, ghost, UFO, anything paranormal. You have to have an experience where you can say it couldn't have been anything else but. So, if you're a believer or you've had an experience, that's great. If you're not, and you're listening to this and you're going, okay, this guy's crazy, cool. If you're in Texas, love to have you come out with us and see if we can experience something. So, yeah, we're going to go down to the Sam Houston National Forest. We're going to try some tree knock techniques. We're going to document that, and then we're going to try and do some offerings. We'll also do a night investigation, and Man and I have been doing a lot of scouting down there. You've seen some of our videos of scouting in that area. We don't know if we're going to camp in a designated camping area yet, or if we're going to kind of wander off trail and camp off trail. Like I was saying last time, I need to create a setup where I can basically just have Amanda drop me off or whatever, or whoever's going with me, or maybe she's going with me, where we can hike into the woods, into certain places, set up a tent, and camp out for the night, and then head back, the next morning, or keep going. My long-term goal is to be able to get some kind of funding and be able to stay out and research for weeks or months, or even hopefully even longer at a time, because there's a lot of places out here that, from what I've heard, they're untapped. They've got a lot of Bigfoot reports, but nobody's actually ever been out to those locations. And some of those areas are extremely hard to get into. They're very thick. You can't just drive your car into them. You have to actually walk, which is perfect for Bigfoots. So we'll be doing more location scouting, Bigfoot-wise here. Maybe not have the videos, but Amanda and I continually are out every weekend almost. If we're not doing an investigation, we're scouting locations, and people are sending us a whole bunch of stuff, information. Have you been here? Have you been there? A friend just told me about another cemetery we should check out. So we're going to be doing that either this month or the following month. We got the little doll over there that we may try and communicate with again, and see if she wants to communicate, and go from there. And then also, like I said, I have the Bastrop Forest that I want to go back out to and see if we go through that one. I don't know if it's a tunnel. I don't want to call it a tunnel. It's a strange setup. There's brush all the way up to this tree, like a wall of brush. And then there's a tree, and it's almost like a doorway. And then next to it's a bunch of brush too. So the only way through this to keep going, well, the path dead ends there. But if you were going to keep going and keep going through the brush, it looks like a doorway. It really does. Excuse me. So essentially, like I said, I've said this many times before, I just was not comfortable at going through there at midnight. Very spotty cell phone service. Nobody really knew where I was. And, I didn't have any kind of weapon with me. And watching two entities go through there, I'm not going to call them Bigfoots, because I don't know what they were. They were about my size and my shape. but I didn't visually. All I could see was a black silhouette, and so to visually say they were Bigfoot, I'm pretty sure it wasn't people, but they were heading over to where all those deer were, and that's an area where that rock was thrown into the river, and also where I got screamed at when I got too close. So yeah, we're gonna go check that out. I think my friend and I are gonna go check that out, or I might just go back by myself. Excuse me, and walk into that area. Maybe go out there during the day and scout it out, walk it, see if we can find any prints or anything over there. I've already found several prints down in this area. Unfortunately, every time I've gone down there to try and cast any of these prints, they're soaking wet. I mean, it's always after the damn rain. And of course, the last time there was another storm coming in, so I had to get out of there because it was a flood risk. But I did visually see what looked like a Bigfoot. It looked like a person in a ghillie suit, but didn't look like a person. Just brownish, greenish hair. And I've talked about them growing moss in their hair before. I definitely think that's a possibility. I think that would really help with their camo if they have greenish tint to them. And then, this one was brown, of course. Again, it's my size. So anyways, again, thank you guys so much for listening. We really, really appreciate it. We really appreciate your support. We appreciate all the downloads and all the subscriptions and likes to our YouTube channel, Deep Woods Paranormal. You look up anything Deep Woods Paranormal, YouTube-wise, our podcast-wise, it should come up. There's always our Deep Woods Paranormal page. Everything's there. You can listen to all of our podcasts there. You can listen to all of our video or watch all of our videos there. There's a sound, I think it's SoundCloud or whatever it is, where we have some of our old evidence, both Bigfoot and ghosts, where you can actually sit there and listen to EVPs. I'd recommend you listen to them with headphones on. So anyways, I'm going to cut this one a little short, guys. I have a lot more to do. I've got a crap ton of stuff I got to get done before I head back out to work here. So thank you guys again. I apologize for the delay in getting more YouTube videos up. We'll get those up as quick as we can. And then we have more adventures coming our way. So stay tuned. Things are continuing to get more and more interesting. We're getting more and more followers. We're getting more and more popular. And, we're going to keep on trekking on. So thank you guys for joining us on this journey. And we're looking forward to seeing where it's going in the future. You all have a positive and fun night and stay haunted.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.